students.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, how are you all?
Good, ma'am.
So, did you remember what we have discussed in our previous class?
Yes,
Tell me what.
fog, the poem.
And it was written by.
Carl August Sandburg.
Right. So, the name of the poem is Fog and it was written by Carl August Sandburg. Firstly, I give few lines about the writer, who is the person. Carl August, and yes, all of you have text, and those who did not have text, please share with others. Okay, and what I am telling here or what I am writing, please note it down in your copy because that should be coming your exam. Okay.
Okay.
So, Carl August Sandburg, who is the author of the poem Fog, he was an American poet. He was a biographer, editor, journalist. He was a well-known figure of contemporary literature. Okay, and Carl August Sandburg won 3 Pulitzer Prizes, 2 for his short stories and 1 for his well-known biography, that is Abraham Lincoln. He won 3 Pulitzer Prizes, 2 for his short stories and 1 for his biography, that is Abraham Lincoln. So, now we are going to discuss the poem details. As I tell you that the poem is consists of only one line and it is very short poem. Okay, so let's begin. I will read the poem firstly. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and sits on silent haunches and then moves on. I am reading the poem again. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. So here, the fog comes on little cat feet. First of all, the poet tried to portray the nature, how nature can silently work. Okay. So here in this line, the fog comes on little cat feet. First of all, you know that we can see fog mostly in winter season. Okay. Basically, the fog is related to winter season. Winter season. We can experience fog in winter, especially morning of winter season. So here poet try to explain the arrival of the fog, how the fog comes in a place. Okay. So here the line the fog comes on little cat feet. The poet here explored that. The fog comes on little cat feet. We can see a cat come in a place by walking on its little feet. You can see it's in a place looking here and there. And when the cat comes in a place, no one can know or no one can notice when the cat has arrived. Okay, in the same way, fog also sets in a city or in a place and no one can predict its arrival. When you wake up in the morning of winter, you can see your surrounding was very cold and you can see fog. Did you notice that when the fog has come? No? But after you wake up in the morning in winter, you see that the whole surrounding was covered by fog. You did not see what was behind them. Just you can experience fog. Okay. So in the same way, cat also does. They can arrive in a place and no one can notice them which time or in which time the fog is arrived. Cat is arrived. The same way fog also does. It sits looking over harbor and city. Here, the word harbor. You can see the word harbor. It is written in the third line of the poem. It sits looking on harbor and the city, over harbor and the city. Here, do you know what is harbor? Any idea?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm telling you. Harbor is a place. We can see harbor in seaside or seashore. Harbor is a place where where ships are kept. Okay, harbor. Harbor is a place where ships are kept. We can see harbor in seaside. Okay, so here the line is it sits looking over harbor in the sea. You can see that you can in the whole poem the poet is explaining the fog as compared as a cat. Okay, so he says that a cat can sit in a whole place silently and he can notice everywhere and looking around what's happening here and there. Okay, the same way fog also appear in a place. He can sit in one place. Fog engulfs all the city and harbor. Inside them, he engulfs the city and walks silently and calmly, and no one can understand what's going on. It sits looking over harbor and the city on silent haunches. Haunches. Haunches means the back end of an animal. In animal, the haunches mean the back end, and in human beings, the haunches refers to the thigh. Okay, thigh or the end of an arm. So we can see animals such as dogs and cats. They can sit in a place and folding their legs behind them. Did you notice that? Yes.
Yes.
So on silent haunches and then moves on. Okay, so we can see that the cat sitting in a place. The cat befolding their legs before sitting behind themselves. In the same way, the frog also does the same. Okay, the frog sits in a place. The frog covers a city and a harbor and silently watching what's going on, what people do, or what are the other things happening. In the same way, cat also does, and then moves on. We can see that after some time, the frog leaves the place or leaves the city. In the same way, cat does not stay for a long duration of time. After some time, we can see the cat has disappeared. We did not notice where the cat has gone. And also, when the cat has arrived at the place or cat has come, we did not understand from where the cat is coming, in which time here the cat is come. Okay, so in the same frog also does the same. The frog the frog covered the city and engulfs the city and harbor in a very silent and calm way and does not noticed by anyone. But after some time, frog does not stay for a long duration of time. Have you noticed the frog can stay for the whole day? No, but yes, in some sometimes the frog can stay whole day. Okay, but most of the time frog can disappear when the sun is rising up. Okay, so the frog leaves the city and moves on after a very short duration of time. It does not stay for a very long period of time. Like a cat also leave the place or moves from the place after some period and being unnoticed by anyone. So in the same way, frog also does. Okay, I am explaining the poem again. Basically, here in the poem, the poet tried to explain the arrival of the fog, how the fog has come. He used the cat because he says that cat has come in a place very silently or very calm way, and no one can notice that when the cat has arrived in that place. In the same way, fog also sets in. No one can understand its arrival when the fog has arrived. After you wake up in the morning, you say that fog is. We know that fog is related to winter season. We experience fog mostly in winter times. Okay. So did you notice that when you wake up in the morning in winter season, surrounding is very cold. There is a fog. But did you predict that when the fog is arrived? Did you predict its arrival? Yes? No. Right. In the same way, cat does. We did not understand when the cat has come. We did not predict the arrival of the cat. Okay. So in the same way, fog also sets in. We did not predict the arrival of the fog. So here in the poem, the poet says that the fog comes on a little cat feet, very silently. It sits on looking over harbor and city. The fog engulfs the city and the harbor. As I tell you that harbor means the place where the ships are kept. We can see harbor in seaside. Okay. So the fog engulfs the city and the harbor in a very calm way, and looking here and there and notice everything like a cat does. A cat here sits in a place and without making any disturbance, the cat watching everything everywhere very silently. So in this poem, fog also does. The poet tried to explain. So on sitting silent conscious and then moves on. Here conscious means the back end of an animal. In animal, the conscious refers to the back end of an animal. Or and in human beings, the conscious refers to the thigh or the end of an arm. Okay. So here the poet tries to explain the fog sitting in a place. The fog make the surrounding very silent and very calm. We does not realize anything. Okay, so but the fog make the surrounding very cold, calm, and after some duration of time, the fog moves on. In the same way, cat does. A cat cannot stay for a long duration of time in one place. We can see that after some time the cat has moved on, or the cat has disappeared from the place where you can see the cat. We do not predict the arrival of the cat in the same way. We did not notice when the cat has disappeared most of the time. But sometimes we can see the cat is gone from that place. Okay, but most of the time we did not notice the cat where the cat is going what time. In the same way, the poet tried to explain that the fog leaves the city in a very short duration of time. It does not stay for a very long period. He says that the fog does not stay for a long period of time in a particular place. The fog moves on and it disappears after some interval of time, just like a cat does, without being noticed by everyone. So here in this poem, the basically poet tried to compare the fog with a cat. Okay, the poem fog has been described in two ways. Firstly, the fog comes as a cat, how the fog has arrived, the arrival of the fog, and then fog sits on silent conscious. In the second, how the fog sits and watches the fog watch. Okay, so the fog comes as a cat, and on the second, the fog sits on silent conscious. Okay, so did you understand the explanation? Or you have any doubt? If you have any doubt, you can ask.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, in the next class, we will doing some question answer part. Till now, you first tell me, did you write whatever I am writing, or did you note it down in your copy, because I am telling you that this is important.
Yes.
So, based on whatever we have discussed in today's class, I will ask you question in your next class, and you read in our next class. You come with full preparation, read the poem very carefully, and explanation, and try to understand the poem. If you have read out, you can ask. Okay. So,
Okay, ma'am.
go home and read the poem and explanation very carefully. Try to understand each and every line, because the poem is very short, but it gives more meaning. Okay, so in the next class we will do some question answer.